Okay, you guys, what is up? The King of Lightning is here today to do One Piece episode 625 review. Now, this week's episode of One Piece, alright, hold on. It's honestly, like, super simple, so this review should be quick by my standards. Now, the episode link is going to be in the description box below on One Piece Official. And let me say this. The title of the episode is Aokiji versus Doflamingo. And you watch the episode and you're like, no, it is... Yo, dude, Doflamingo and Aokiji had like... And this is what I'm talking about in One Piece anime, where like they extend scenes like OD, they let the soundtrack run for minutes on end. This is exactly what I'm talking about. They had Doflamingo and Aokiji stare off for like 3 fucking minutes, and Flamingo was funny as shit because he kept on doing this. So that was funny. That was real damn funny. It really was. And then it was like another minute of just him walking over towards Aokiji. And Aokiji and Doflamingo are actually very tall dudes. They must be over 9 feet apiece, obviously. Flamingo is just tall and lanky. And I think Flamingo is taller than Aokiji. That is true. I believe so. Because the entire time his knees were bent. So he wasn't standing up straight the entire time. His knees were bent the entire time. But here's the thing. One of the main things here that's very important to know, obviously, is the fact that Flamingo was able to easily break out of Aokiji's ice. And Buffalo said Flamingo didn't get frozen over to the bone. So, was Aokiji really trying? You don't really know. Because, again, we saw Flamingo getting froze over, but Smoker, who was right underneath Flamingo, didn't get froze over. But then the entire area around Aokiji was frozen over. But here's the thing that I want to get to. There has been this debate amongst One Piece fans about who's stronger, Admirals or Shichibukai. And it's very hard to gauge because of the simple fact that the Shichibukai are everywhere in terms of power. They're everywhere. Now, when you take a look at the... Because there is someone who is weaker than this person amongst the Shichibukai. But because the anime viewers haven't gotten to that point yet, I won't say his name. I mean, it's very obvious who it is, but I won't say their name. Basically, they got there because of their name. I'll leave it at that. Now, when you look at Gecko Moria sucks. He sucks donkey balls. Oh my god. But Mihawk, it's just like, bro, this dude's on a league of his own. Mihawk just fucks around with people. That's what he does. He just fucks around with people. This is he's never been hit once. In the entire series of One Piece, he's never been hit once. Not once. Crocodile is beastly as shit. Kuma had the power to reflect all things. Bro, are you serious? And the thing about that is that, well, even Boa Hancock has been pretty devastating. Now, is she Admiral level? No, I wouldn't go that far. But Mihawk, I think he's above Admiral level. I really do, because he's powerful as that. So, my thing here is that it's very hard to tell, you know, the power scheme of Admirals versus Shichibukai. But what I can say is that Flamingo, I think, is at least Admiral level. I'm being very serious. I think he's at least Admiral level. He's able to fuck around with the Vice Admiral. Now, granted, the Vice Admirals themselves have their own, you know, power niche. Smoker isn't like the strongest power. Smoker isn't the strongest Vice Admiral. I mean, Monkey D. Garp, duh. But it's just that, well, actually, we don't know now because Monkey D. Garp, you know, he's far from his prime. But the thing here is that Flamingo, Kuma, and Mihawk, I think, are the 3 strongest Shichibukai. And I think Flamingo and Mihawk are Admiral level. Mihawk being Admiral level plus because he's had daily duels with Shanks. So you don't daily duel with Shanks and say like I'm some scrub. No. That's not what happens. But at the same time, looking at Gecko Moria, I mean, even though he's like the weakest out of the Shichibukai when it comes to power, in the grand scheme of things, he was still able to punch an island and like break it up into pieces with one fucking punch in his Shadow Asgard state. And from a power standpoint, I haven't seen an Admiral do that. But then again, we never really seen Admirals actually, you know, go all out. Even when it came to Aokiji versus Akainu, that fight has never been shown in either manga or anime, and their powers counterbalance. So like his ice negates his magma, because Aokiji's ice is like superb. It's like ice beyond ice. It's like no, like it's not just fire. Like magma, I can tussle with magma too. So here's the thing though, but I'll probably lean more towards, and this is my personal take, the Shichibukai being over the Admirals simply because they have Mihawk and Flamingo. That mainly Mihawk. And Kuma's powerful shit too. But then Kuma had a downgraded power. That's the thing that you need to realize. When Kuma lost his memory, or when Kuma had his memory wiped, he had a downgrade in power. It was a downgrade. Because I think Oda realized, oh shit, the power to affect all things is a little bit too powerful. It's just a little bit too axed. So we need to downgrade Kuma, so he's not going to be as, you know, devastating in the long scheme of things. And have some backstory for him, so we can, you know, put him in a position that is not so, like, OP. Because if you're going to reflect all things, because in One Piece there's a lot of absolutes. There's the power to absorb all things, the power to reflect all things, Goldie Roger's power to hear all things. There's a lot of these absolutes. So when you downgrade Kuma's, when you make him an android where he can't really think on his own, yeah, that's a drastic downgrade in power. Now, when it comes to the other parts of the episode, again, these are actually very, very, very simple. Pretty much, it's just Momonosuke gets a tour around the Sun Ego. They were being bombarded by like these falling glaciers. So, you know, the New World, of course, showcasing the chaotic environment of the New World where it's raining glaciers. That's pretty serious. Duh. They mention the name Kaido. Law does. And Momonosuke and Kinemon kind of freak out. That's obvious that there's some connection there between them and Kaido. That's very obvious. What is exactly, we don't know. Well, we just don't know. But there's some connection there. So that may mean that there's also a connection specifically with Wano Kuni and Kaido. So Kaido's being thrown out there a lot now. So there's Kaido. And also, speaking of Kaido, apparently he has at least 500 Devil Fruit users in his crew. All of them artificial Zoans, because they all ate the SAD, which is created by Caesar Clown, which the foundation itself stems from Vegapunk. So 500 Zoan Devil Fruit users. That's a lot of animals. You got the whole animal kingdom like it's Lion King, man. You got the whole animal kingdom right there, and this guy, Kaido, the King of Beasts, straight up Mufasa, like, yeah. I'm telling you, dude. I'm telling you. I can't wait to see Kaido. I can't fucking wait. Alright, but either way. Actually, that's pretty much it, to be honest. Oh, and Kinemon just found out that Zoro has Kengo Ryoma's sword, and apparently the grave was pillaged. The grave of the legendary samurai Kengo Ryoma, which we actually see him in the One Piece Wanted one-shot manga, was pillaged. So that means that Gecko Moria and the boys at some point went to Wano Kuni and stole Ryoma's sword. I mean, they're the ones who had it, right? So I'm just like, I don't see Hogback going into Wano Kuni, pillaging a grave, stealing a legendary samurai sword, and then bailing. How does that happen? Well, then again, when you think about how Gekko Moria was able to escape Doflamingo, because Flamingo was going to kill him, then apparently, with his Kage Kage no Mi, he was able to escape, like, disappear on the spot. So, I'm just saying. I mean, and plus there's Abu Salom, but then again, they probably have hockey users up there in Wano Kuni, up the wazoo. So even if he is invisible, they're able to sense him via Ken Bonchugo Haki. So, I mean, we'll see where that goes, but right now, like, basically, Kinemon knows that Zoro has Legendary Samurai Sword. Not a big deal, because after the whole thing with Momonosuke and him being treated very nicely by the women, and the kid, he's a pervy kid, like, yeah, tickle bitties, yeah, he loves them things. That was funny. And then we're going to filler. It's very obvious. If you don't know, at the end of the episode, we see these giant trees, these giant mangroves, which are very reminiscent of Shibuya Archipelago. And all of a sudden, there's some giant, like, hippo that comes out of the water. Then we see, like, a silhouette of this creature, which is obviously a Kung Fu Jugon. This is obvious. And, or at least maybe a relative of that. I'm not too sure. But it's that species. And then there's some other dude with an eyeglass. He's like, so they're here. That's filler. So we're now going to filler. Because if you don't know, now you know. The thing here is that the current One Piece arc is, like, if they continue, then they're going to go right into the current arc in the manga. So they're going to let it proceed even further. So how long this filler will be, I have no idea. But regardless of that, the thing here is that we are going now into filler in One Piece. So for the next few weeks, I may not review One Piece, period. Because I don't really review filler. I just don't. But I will see you guys later nonetheless. I'll talk about it in a live stream that I'll do either tomorrow or Thursday. We'll see how it goes. And I will see you guys later. Once again, be sure to, of course, rate the video, comment, and subscribe as always. Peace. Have a nice day.